Thanks for hanging on with us, traders and investors. I am Brianna Valesky here with Joel Elcon, and you're listening to Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. We have Nicole Lapin on the line. She is the author of Rich Bitch, a financial expert. She's also served as a business anchor and special correspondent for Bloomberg Television. She's the money-saving correspondent for the Wendy Williams Show and reports on the business of Hollywood for The Insider. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing this morning?
Thank you so much, guys. Great to wake up with you.
So we have to ask, will you be going to the first annual Benzinga FinTech Awards Gala?
Oh my gosh, I wasn't invited, but of course.
Oh, well, then this is our special invitation to you. We would love for you to be our guest to the FinTech Awards ceremony. It's next month, April 8th. From 4 to 9 p.m. We'll give you all the details after this show. But we want to talk more about you. You got your start in finance.
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
First. I'm really sorry to interrupt, Brad, because I know this is the most hard-hitting question of your day. Is Jason Resnick going to be wearing a bow tie?
You know what? That is
definitely
the most important question of the day.
Because that's where my answer hinges.
Okay. Oh, that's a very great point. We have Joel's running over to ask him right now.
Okay, good. Breaking news.
All right, we'll get back to that. But you got your start in finance at the age of 18, reporting from the floor of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange for First Business Network. How did you manage that?
Oh my gosh. When I was growing up, I had no Wall Street Journal on the kitchen counter. I actually grew up in an immigrant household as a first-generation American. There was only cash, which sounds very monster and gangster-like, but it made me feel very awkward when I had a boyfriend in high school who said he wanted to be a hedge fund manager, and I thought the dude wanted to be in gardening. I kid you not. So that was my former self, this really clueless girl who had to teach herself the language of money. And as you guys know, it's a language just like anything else. At first, when you join the conversation, it sounds like Chinese because you don't speak the language. Hello. And then, it starts to morph into something you can understand. And then we can riff all day about the questions you asked me before we started, technicals versus fundamentals. Like at first, if you didn't know what those things meant, it would make sense that it would break you out into hives, which it used to do before I started when I was 18 on the floor. I actually got this job by accident, and I was thrown into the deep end. So there was no better way to get my MBA from the School of Hard Knocks and those lovely boys on the floor who helped me with my education.
So you have a New York Times bestseller that was just out called Rich Bitch. Tell us about the book.
Yeah, Rich Bitch hit the New York Times bestseller list instantly, which is awesome. I'm really excited by the feedback we've gotten from young women especially. So these are young women who, aren't watching CNBC and aren't actually probably listening to this show right now, but it's important because I love you guys. And, I think you might have other friends who want to talk with you about some of the money stuff that you're interested in but are too freaked out, because money is a scary thing if you aren't in it every single day like you guys are or I am. So I think putting myself in my former self's shoes was really important to come up with a book that would speak to her and not get her freaked out and intimidated and scared and, speak in real English. And it swears. So there's my claim to fame more infamy. I think I prefer the latter, but all kidding aside, there was no money book or personal finance book that actually spoke with confidence, attitude, sass, and the exact ways that I'm speaking in right now, or if we were grabbing a drink or off the air. So I think that was important to demystify the language of money by changing the language that it was used in.
So what are just maybe the one or two of the important finance tips you want people to know from reading the book, if you can reveal them?
Yeah, of course. So becoming a rich bitch is a great thing, first of all. It's not about having more money than you know what to do with, although money is awesome, so you shouldn't be scared of it. It's about having confidence and learning how to speak the language of money to get to the life you want. So it's really about living the life you want and living a rich life in all aspects of that word. So it's not about deprivation. A lot of financial experts will tell you don't buy your morning latte, which I think is total BS. I don't know what I can say on this show, so I'm just going to say BS. I argue for the morning latte. I think you can buy your morning latte for a lot of young women, especially out there, who feel like they need to curl in the fetal position and stock up on water or whatever. It's doomsday if you listen to some financial experts who will tell you it's all about deprivation. I think it's about aspiration. I think it's about making more money. It's putting your career in overdrive. And hello, Captain Obvious, if you make more money, you don't need to save as much money. So it's really changing your mindset and rethinking conventional financial wisdom to help, this new normal. Obviously, you guys talk about this every single day, of this new generation growing up as the so-called lost generation who needs to rethink conventional financial wisdom, buying a house, buying a latte. The answers could be different for every single person, so they should start thinking from themselves, which I hope Rich Bitch will help them do.
Absolutely. So you've been reporting on the financial markets for more than a decade now, and we'd love to get your thoughts on some specific companies. First and foremost, will you be buying an Apple Watch?
I will not be buying an Apple Watch as of yet. I am an early adopter to a lot of technology. I am bullish on wearables for sure. I'm bullish on single-function wearables right now. So ones that track your fitness, ones that track your sleep, ones that track your money, which I created one, by the way, that does that.
We're on the line with Nicole Lapin. She's a former CNN and CNBC anchor and author of The Rich Bitch. Nicole, I got a question for you. When you were down on the floor, did you learn all the hand signals from the pits?
I really tried. They're kind of like gang signals. I'm not going to lie. I was like, guys, first of all, what is happening with the jackets? I did a whole piece when I was at First Business. It was like a tongue-in-cheek piece around the Oscars time where I was like, what are the traders wearing? Do we actually know? Like, what does this blue signify? Or why is this dude wearing a bunch of clovers? So I was like, let's go down and talk to the traders and see what the traders are wearing. We went to the Board Options Exchange in the Board of Trade, too, and we, did a whole fashion show. And so I think sometimes we take for granted, too, like, why are these guys wearing three letters, or why are they wearing a particular color? And I think, sometimes it's even, we just take it for granted that it's their firm's color, Barclays is blue, or whatever it is. So that was really fun. And I didn't learn all the hand signals, but I tried.
I learned them, and I taught them to my wife. And when she asked me,
really?
What time we're leaving for dinner, I'll give her the old 7:30 sign or whatever. And I left the floor. This was back in the mid '90s. But just a little perspective. They're going to be closing down all the pits. Besides the S&Ps here shortly. And I've been on the floor. We've had a few people on the floor, but just to give your perspective of how transactions for millions of dollars were exchanged with hand signals and writing them down on paper cards. And now, basically, you could sit right now. If you wanted to do a trade on your phone right now while you were on our show, click. Just give us your perspective on that.
Gosh, I think we're both old school in that way. When I started, obviously there was a lot more action down there, and I think now, a lot of it's ceremonial and done for television, which makes sense. You want to have some sort of visual depiction behind you, even though it is a little bit, ceremonial at this point. I think for me it was, when I first started, I'll never forget, the energy and the freneticism and how guys would literally, if you've ever been on the floor, where you do your reports for all of the CNBC and Bloomberg and everybody else, the camera is on the ceiling. And I don't think people necessarily realize that there's a fixed camera, and you're standing there, and there are a bunch of guys, with the hand signals and the whole spiel. And literally there would be times where a guy would just pick me up and move me. I was in the middle of the report. And he'd be like, oh, it's not excuse me, you're in my way. It's okay, I'm going to just pick your whole body up and move you. Or I'm having a really great day, so I'm going to kiss your cheek. Or I'm having a really crappy day, and all of the $100 bills are going to get thrown outside of my pockets. And this is going to happen. And so, I think that was really, for me, the experience was, again, thrown into the deep end, learned the language of money, through the School of Hard Knocks. And moving forward, where a lot of that texture and life and color is color, like literally with the jackets and everything else, is lost. I'm gonna be sad about that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, that it's true, and there's some characters down there that are really irreplaceable. So, I mean, you've been involved in the markets from a journalistic standpoint. You've reported on different things. You got a pretty good perspective on things. Just you wrote your book. Like, what for your own personal investing and for people out there, what would be the number one tip that you would have?
Yeah, I actually just signed on as a columnist for, I know this isn't the audience either, but I'll let you know, for Redbook as their first ever money columnist. My first column on investing came out this week for the new issue. And so for me, it's important to demystify this world, especially for women who might be scared of all this investing stuff. And I think the biggest advice that I give is very simple, and it's actually come from, a ton of guys that I've interviewed over the years. So it's not, a layman's approach. It's actually, beyond the charts and analysis and, technicals and all that, is really like going shopping. And this is something a lot of guys will do. I don't even know if I can name them at this point, but like if a guy from PIMCO would like take his daughter shopping and see what stores would be bustling and, who, Coach doing crappy, and maybe that was reflected in stock price, which it probably was really rocking. Like, did his daughter love, the pants or the customer service or the whatever? Was the energy in there great? That really, again, like, consumers strive in the end of the day, and, I don't need to tell you guys this, consumers account for the large portion of GDP, so I think it's really listening to yourself and realizing that investing isn't that serious, and if you just are a more savvy shopper, which is what a lot of ladies like to do, Brianna. So I think, it's listening to yourself and not getting bogged down in a lot of stuff that might intimidate you, but really just like keeping your eyes open at them all is my biggest advice.
Babe, that's some great advice. Well, Nicole Lapin, thank you so much for joining us today. She's the author of Rich Bitch, as well as a Bloomberg TV anchor and correspondent. I have to let you know that Jason Raznick will, in fact, be wearing a bow tie.
Yes! My life is complete.
So we'll give you a little more information on that. And stay tuned, guys. In just a couple minutes, you'll learn how you can win a chance get a chance to win a copy of Nicole's book, Rich Bitch. All right, well, you have a wonderful day, and we will have to bring you on again soon.
Love to. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Nicole.